Okay, what are the insurance considerations for a new or startup business? Well, there are tons of different types of insurance policies that you can get. And as the business grows or progresses, all of these generally become relevant. But you'll just have to look at each one individually and say, given the nature of the business, what is the risk involved? And if the risk is at a certain level, or the potential repercussions for that risk are at a certain level, it may be necessary to buy insurance. Okay, or it may be cost beneficial if you're weighing the cost benefit analysis for purchasing the insurance versus the risk of whatever potential happening could give rise to some liability. Okay, so lots of insurance companies offer business owner policies that combine a number of different types of insurance, right, that are generally liability insurance, premises, casualty, etc. So, but let's go through for a second and talk about some of the different types of insurance that are applicable. So first of all, you got coverage for property loss, right? Casualty insurance, say in the event of a fire, water damage, etc., that it pays for any damages suffered from there. Okay, so that's probably your first and foremost thought for coverage for your equipment and your business to continue operations, right? Protection from tort liability. Okay, so you can buy insurance policies that if somebody, say, slips and falls in your premises and are hurt, you have a policy in place that would pay any damages suffered by the individual, etc. You have business continuation or interruption insurance. This is really common because certain things like weather, say a hurricane, or earthquake, tornado, something like that, could interrupt your business for an amount of time. It could be other things such as construction, right? Government building a road and it blocks off access to your business or something like that. So anything that gives rise to interruption of your business, you can purchase a insurance policy to cover that specific type of interruption. Okay. Product liability insurance is a big one for businesses that either manufacture, sell at wholesale or retail any products, because product liability is generally strict liability that goes along the chain of manufacturing and sale. So any individual in the ordinary chain of sale, down from the manufacturer to the retailer, could be held liable in strict product liability for a defectively designed or manufactured product. Okay, so that could be an important thing to have if you sell products that have the potential to harm someone, such as heavy machinery or something like that. If you're in a services firm, say an accountant, doctor, CPA, engineer, architect, something like that, that has the potential where your services could cause some form of harm to individuals, you may have malpractice insurance of some sort to cover claims against your practice. If you have employees that drive vehicles for the business, you may want to have policies that cover the vehicles that are used in the daily operations. You may have, the state may require workers' compensation insurance, okay, for individuals. Now, generally, there's a threshold there that you have to have a certain number of employees before the state requires you to have workers' compensation insurance in place. So you need to review the individual state's laws ahead of time, and whether it's required to make payments to the state or whether it's self-funded, etc. Generally, a state may require for a certain number of employees that you have unemployment insurance in place. Okay. The other types would be, say you set up a organizational structure, say that of a corporation, and you wish for officers and directors of the corporation to have limited liability or limited personal liability for their actions, etc. But yet the business doesn't have the ability to simply indemnify these officers. So you may want to put in place a director and officer liability insurance that covers any requirement of indemnification by the corporation to these officers for liability that they suffered for their actions. So this is another one. You may want to give employee benefits that could be in the form of, say, disability insurance to the employee. You may want to subsidize this or offer a plan that the employees can purchase it. Other welfare style benefits to the, or welfare benefits to the employee would be, say, life insurance that they can purchase or that the company subsidizes that. In some cases, you may be allowed to have key employee insurance. So in the event this employee is injured or passes away, that the business is compensated for that. Health insurance plans. This has changed a lot given the new rules under the Affordable Care Act. Business insurance has never been more available to small businesses than it is now. There are tons of options for employees now within the business or outside of the business. You have to be aware at a certain level, 50 or more full-time employees, if you don't offer a business plan and any of your employees qualify for federal assistance in purchasing a plan through a federal exchange, then that could lead to fines or tax repercussions for the business because the employee doesn't make enough money and you don't offer a a health insurance plan. So generally it may be advisable that if you have this number of employees to offer a health insurance plan. There are other situations in place where you could say use bonds or something like that as a form of insurance. Now, if you're a business that's a contractor of sorts, say that builds commercial properties or installs amenities or puts in drywall, roofing, etc., something like that, when you're working with a larger entity that requires some form of insurance against non-performance, you may get a performance bond, which is generally a type of insurance where you purchase that says, okay, if the contractor doesn't perform the services well, that the insurance company will make payment to the client to make them whole, so they can hire someone to actually do the job. And there may also be, in the similar context where you have a contractor scenario, payment bonds that say any subcontractors of the contractor will be paid, right? And you put forward an insurance policy or bond in place that says in any event they will be paid, that they can't put a materialman or workman's lien on the property that will ultimately affect the client. So again, this is a long list, but these are different aspects of insurance that you'll have to consider given your type of business. So my recommendation is to sit down with an insurance professional and go over some of these types of insurance, but hopefully this video will give you enough background ahead of time so that you understand the different types of insurance and the importance of each going forward.